Welcome to This Week in Wrestling History.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Detective Pikachu podcast, where we'll be reviewing Detective Pikachu all day, every day. Woo! All right. This Week in Wrestling History, Ryan, Jacob.
Yo.
So, yeah, I think we missed last week. Sorry about that. We have a lot of life stuff going on around this time of year. I changed jobs. We both have our wedding anniversary right around here, so life kind of snuck up in there and decided to be like, you guys don't have time this weekend. So, yeah. Also, there's just not a lot of wrestling stuff at the moment. So
no, because it's post WrestleMania season.
Yeah,
there's never much after that.
Yeah, starting to hit that summer lull. But the network gifted us with something this week to go over, and then I think we'll talk a little bit about Money in the Bank. That's coming up tomorrow as we record it. Hopefully tomorrow as you guys hear this, if we get the editing done super quick. So
yeah, It'll at least be out just before the pay-per-view starts.
All right, so there you go. Hope everyone's listening during the pre-show. That sounds about right for us. So let's just jump right into the first thing that we're actually going to, our little throwback thing here. So this week, people online are kind of debating whether it was a jerk move by WWE or not, because it's something that the StarCast is going to be covering at their show coming up in a week and a half.
You know, I didn't hear about any of this stuff with the StarCast and this hidden gem, or the Holy Grail, as people are calling it.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Bret Hart versus Tom Mcgee tape that was just found and put on the WWE Network, supposedly for payback for canceling The Undertaker and someone else. Kurt Angle, was it? Appearing at StarCast 2 next weekend. WWE was going to give them Bret Hart and find this Tom Mcgee thing and talk about that. And they thought it was going to be some new exclusive thing. And then it turns out, we're actually going to do a network thing too. And people online are just kind of saying it was petty of WWE and this, that. And honestly, I think that's a little bit silly. If anything, I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know Bret Hart, Tom Mcgee was some big lost internet holy grail.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either until, what's his name? This guy with the curly hair.
Oh, Sam Roberts.
Yeah. I didn't know that this was such a big deal until I was watching this and he was talking about it. And he alone made it seem like this was the thing.
So Sam Roberts, I used to listen to Opie and Anthony way back in the day, where Sam Roberts was one of their interns and then producers. I wouldn't really believe anything Sam Roberts says in front of a live microphone or camera to be gospel truth.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he's lying. It's just he's the sort of guy that's going to play a character whether you think he's playing a character or not.
That's fair.
Sam Roberts is a character. So.
That's fair. I mean, Cassius Ohno also...
Yeah, exactly.
Made a pretty decent run for this.
Right, that I think makes it a little bit more worthy. So anyways, any drama around this thing aside, there was this lost match, and it's a little bit special for us because it took place in Rochester, New York back in 1986.
Go figure.
It was a tryout match for this guy that was supposedly going to be the next Hulk Hogan. Big guy, he came from strongman competitions.
I mean, he, by all rights, looking at him, he very well could have been the next Hulk Hogan.
Right, and the mystique surrounding things was more that he had a tryout match with Bret Hart. The match was phenomenally good, and everyone was like, that's it. This between this guy's look and that performance in the ring, this guy's made. He's going to be rocket up the ass. Next, he's your next champ. Would turn out not to whatsoever be that way. He would kind of have a couple more matches and then just be gone forever, and everyone would eventually realize, it was Bret Hart that made this guy look like $1 million.
Right. And they even, I'm pretty sure it's Cassius Ohno even hits on that at one point in here when he's talking about it. He goes, it took WWE,
about 4 or 5 years from here
to realize that it wasn't Tom Mcgee that they were trying to push as their next champ. It was Bret. And
right.
It was Bret all along.
Right. So the match itself is what it is. It's heel Bret Hart with Jimmy Hart as his manager versus Tom Mcgee. And Tom Mcgee, if you knew nothing else about this, looking at the guy, and if you were told he was going to be the next Hulk Hogan and you saw this match, you'd be like, yup, that sounds about right. The guy was doing stuff that no one else at the time was doing. Like, he would reverse an Irish whip by just running up the turnbuckles and doing a backflip off the top turnbuckle behind his opponent.
Yeah, and for a guy that's, what did he say, 6'5",
He's
280?
He was 6'3", 270, 280.
Yeah, so a guy that large doing in 1986,
Yeah,
doing essentially
that's the biggest thing.
moonsault, landing on his feet.
He was really kind of flying around like a cruiserweight would today in 86, which...
Unheard of.
Really unheard of. Like, we're talking pre-Muta doing the moonsault in WCW.
Flying Brian.
Right.
I mean...
Pre-Jushin Thunder... Like, Jushin Thunder Liger, I'm pretty sure was around at this point in time, but the juniors in the juniors in Japan, the luchas in Mexico, weren't really up to the super athletic acrobatic stuff. And the guy wasn't... He was super athletic for a guy that size, but for the time period, it made it really stand out.
Right. I mean, it right now would be the equivalent of if Braun Strowman decided to do a moonsault.
Right. I mean, honestly, Brock Lesnar would probably be the best analogy for this guy doing the shooting star press.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally, this guy could have been, like, he was a white meat babyface, but whereas Brock came in as the absolute monster, this guy could have been an absolute monster, and no one would have thought a thing about it.
What's kind of funny is as I watch it more, and as I see Mcgee more, he kind of looked like the Texas Tornado.
He did look like Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah.
I was trying to kind of place. He did look a lot like Kerry Von. He was bigger than Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah, he was bigger, but Von Erich was a little bit more toned.
Yeah, I could see that because, as they said, this guy came from actually strongman competitions, which he came in like second or something, and whatever.
He came in second, like 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
Sure.
So, but he wasn't like that typical, like kind of Braun Strowman, Mark Henry strongman look, where they're more kind of like barrel chested and kind of just big all around. He looked pretty cut, but still was big. Like you said, I think Kerry Von Erich was leaner and a little bit more.
Von Erich was also a little smaller too.
Right, exactly. So kind of smaller all around, but looked a little bit better. Looked a little bit more like a super strong but achievable as opposed to big solid slab of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Mcgee had a quote unquote like Adonis feel to him.
Yeah. So match itself was about 5 minutes long, maybe if that.
Yeah, it was a dark match before dark matches were a thing.
Right, exactly. It was something that it had commentary from Gorilla and Bobby.
And I'm pretty sure they said it was solely so that it was taped and that they had record of it happening.
Yeah, it was never intended to air. I don't believe it ever did air.
Nope.
Was from here, Rochester, New York. It was back at the old War Memorial, back when it was called that.
And it was just a live event too, wasn't it? I don't think it was was it a Monday Night Raw?
Well, Raw
or
didn't
not
exist.
a Monday Night Raw. It was like an actual TV taping.
Superstar tapings. It may have been. I'm not even 100% sure. It may have just been a live house show. It was a decent match, and I mean, there's nothing really more to say than what you can see on the network. It's the special was. Bret basically said, "Hey, give me the top 3 things you can do in the ring. What are your best 3 things? Cool. I'll work those in. You listen to me and don't do anything else." And just listen to me.
That's the best part, is that Bret legitimately tells him, don't do anything I don't tell you to do.
Right. And it works.
The
guy looks like $1 million.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, this just goes to show you Bret can make anybody look like $1 million.
Right. And to kind of transition a little bit, it made me think, who do we have today that can really do that? We don't have a ton of guys.
There isn't a ton, but I know one off of the top of my head that I've always been a fan of that you've kind of a couple of times. Dolph can make people look good.
Yeah, I figured he was going to come up. I still say no because I think Dolph oversells to the point where it looks like he's just flopping around for... When you flop around for everything, it kind of doesn't make any particular thing look good.
Dolph, to me, he can make anybody look good, but he's better working with the bigger guys.
Yeah, so...
Because he can flop like that.
Who I would say can currently do this probably best in the company would be AJ.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Yeah.
I would argue AJ and DB. They pull the best out of just about anybody.
That seems fair. Finn probably up there too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what the company is lacking, is someone that can go in there
with literally anybody and work a 5-10 minute match.
Right. And make everyone come out looking better.
Right.
Because the thing was, Bret's selling and the stuff Bret took, especially like Bret would always take like that chest first bump into the turnbuckle.
Yep.
That looked like it absolutely killed him every time.
And Bret also, in this match particularly, sold those arm drags and then the work of the arm afterwards.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
I think Bret was better at making someone buy into wrestling as a real athletic competition than anything else.
Well, it's like we've said before. Well, you've said before. Bret and, on the other hand, Perfect.
I was just going to bring up that match.
Either of those guys could make it look like this was a legitimate fight.
Exactly. I was about to say, go back to our SummerSlam 91 review.
Yep.
And when we're talking about Bret and Mr. Perfect, making it look like an actual street fight, just happened to be using wrestling maneuvers in a wrestling ring.
It only took us, 35 episodes to get on the same page?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, look at that. We got there. So, anything else we really want to touch on this? Because I think, it's a short thing on the network. It's definitely worth checking out. It's a cool bit of history.
Yeah, it's no longer than a half hour. If you got a half hour to kill and you like the history stuff,
yeah,
which clearly you do because you're listening to us.
Right.
Give it a watch. It's entertaining to say the least.
And it's really actually cool because they catch up with Tom Mcgee and bring him out and have a quick little discussion with him and seem like a good guy.
What's funny is that he had never actually seen the match. Right,
yeah. And the only thing I can really say is it's 5 minutes with the guy, if that, from a guy that we've never seen anything else from. I'm making a judgment based off a real small sample of the guy, but knowing other wrestlers that came from this time period, he seems way more down to earth and genuine, and like maybe escaping the business would have been the best thing for this guy.
Oh yeah. I could only imagine if he had stuck around, things probably would have gone sour real quick.
Right. He seemed just gracious to have had
an opportunity.
Right. He got in there. He felt like it was a great match with one of the best in the world that ever was able to do this thing. He was just very gracious about it, and it seemed heartfelt, genuine, and he seemed like a good guy, and not necessarily the kind of guy that the wrestling business would necessarily be kind to.
Right.
So, all right, that's that. So, up next, Money in the Bank talk?
Sure.
All right. So, again, it was a short thing. We would like to give you guys a little bit longer than a 15-minute episode here this week. So, I think we'll cover Money in the Bank coming up here. And I will be honest, I haven't been paying super close attention to the product lately.
The only thing you've been paying attention to is Bray Wyatt.
Exactly what I was about to say again.
See?
Oh, look at this.
See,
We're so good today.
episodes. We're good.
Nice. Yeah, the Bray Wyatt stuff, so good.
Yowie wowie.
And it looks like now it's coming to a head finally, and they kind of dropped the everything's happy, shiny, colorful, bright, and okay, and oh, look, Bray has a psycho. It's literally a Joker mask.
Yeah. What I enjoy about this the most is that it's so different because we're not going to get Kane back for a while.
No, and honestly, if ever, and I don't really want that back anymore.
Right. Let him go be mayor. Let him do his thing.
Yeah.
The stuff with Vince has always liked having a supernatural character around.
And this is so good because it's not necessarily supernatural in an unbelievable way. It's more like a creepypasta from the internet.
Or even a, quote, supernatural to the wrestling world, but a kind of look at mental health almost.
Yeah. So, obviously, if you haven't seen them yet, go watch the Firefly Funhouse skits from Raw from the last month. They've done 4 of them now. They've all been excellent. And it's Bray Wyatt doing clearly whatever broken Matt Hardy was, this is leaps and it's different from it. It's not trying to be the broken thing, but it's clearly this person had a mental break and this guy wasn't. The thing was, Matt Hardy was like, hey, smiling Matt Hardy before becoming broken, which, okay, he became a little weird. Bray Wyatt was like, Bayou cult leader beforehand.
Right. Now he's
gone off the deep end. Yeah,
now
exactly.
He's hosting a child's TV show, which, funny enough, it's so funny because it's so reminiscent of Blue's Clues.
Yeah, that's what so I've never seen Blue's Clues, but I'd heard that it's very close to.
It's very close to Blue's Clues, and it's unsettling at points.
So my hope for this thing is that, yes, Bray, we see, there is something drastically wrong. So, like, we knew something was wrong. That's clearly the vibe that was coming through. We knew there was another shoe about to drop. I hope he comes out. I hope he, like, abducts someone, just does something horrible to someone, and then disappears again, and then Firefly Funhouse comes back, and it's bright and cheery again, but there's a new character. And it's just suddenly like, wait, if he just abducted someone and they became a character, wait, we had 3 other characters before. Who are these other characters? Does this guy actually have someone in a closet somewhere?
Right.
Does Bray Wyatt legitimately have people tied up in his basement? What's going? And the one thing I will give WWE is, I don't think AEW could do this.
No, AEW, like we've said before, is most likely going to be the work rate company.
They're banking on work rate. They're banking on more realistic things, angles, and feuds, much like WCW and the NWA did back in the late 80s.
Which is completely fine.
Play to your strengths.
Yeah, that makes sense for them to do that because there isn't anything like that right now. Whereas you have WWE, who's always been characters.
Right, and this is a character that no other promotion right now could really do.
And the big thing is
so do it.
WWE has kind of lost the character stuff.
They very much have. We've had a long stretch of very bland, I'm here, I'm the toughest because I'm the toughest guy.
Right.
Come at me, bro.
Most of the stories now are, I want the belt. No, I want the belt.
Right. And, I mean, even to an extent, AJ doesn't really have a character. He's just the phenomenal AJ Styles.
He's just a really good wrestler.
Right.
Like that's his character.
That doesn't really differ much from Seth Rollins.
Right. Doesn't very much differ from Finn Balor.
Doesn't differ much from Randy Orton.
Right.
They're all great talents, but the characters aren't there anymore. There's no unique identifiers really. Finn Balor has the demon at least.
Yeah, but that shows up how often?
Exactly.
We got that at Mania.
Yeah.
And that's the first time it's happened since he's been on the main roster?
No, it's the second. It's
since he won the Universal title.
Yeah, no, he had it against Corbin. Remember when he squashed Corbin?
Oh, that's right. So the guy's been on the main roster for what?
2-3 years?
No.
Yeah.
I got to say it's almost 4 because he was hurt for almost a full year.
Maybe.
So we get the demon maybe once a year, if that.
Right. So, anyways, yeah. So getting back to Money in the Bank, check out the Bray Wyatt stuff though. I hope they keep doing it well. So far they have been. I see no reason why they wouldn't. So I'm hopeful. So. All right, you want to run down match-by-match listings for what we have coming up at Money in the Bank here?
Sure. Let's start at the pre-show.
So that'll be Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari.
Nope. That's going to be the opening match. There's another one there. DB and Rowan versus the Usos for the tag titles.
Okay, cool. This was actually the match I was going to complain about when I first saw it. So DB and Rowan are the tag team champs of what show?
SmackDown.
And the Usos are on what show?
Raw.
Oh, okay. What the fuck?
Well, Have you been seeing the stuff with this wild card thing?
It's the worst. WWE is hurting so bad right now, and they're scrambling, and I've never seen a promotion be in the scramble phase and have it work out well.
Right. I mean, the big thing for me here is that you have DB and Rowan as the SmackDown Tag Champs.
I'm fine with that.
Right. They're already talking about giving them eco-friendly belts for those two.
Honestly, I'm fine with this match. I think it'll be a great match. My problem is the setup for the whole thing. It makes no sense.
Well, the other thing, too, is you don't have the Raw tag titles on the card at all.
You don't. There's 11 matches currently listed for this. That's ridiculous.
So why are the Usos facing for the SmackDown tag titles? I mean, aside from the cop-out, rematch clause.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Right, because of the McMahon's coming back.
Yeah, that's not supposed to. There's no point for this. It's cool. It'll hopefully be a great match. I have no reason to think it won't, but there's no reason for it. And the problem is WWE scrambling to just throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks is usually the worst of WWE.
I mean, honestly, I would have. Again, this match will be great.
Yep.
I would have much rather seen the Usos versus the Revival.
Yes.
For the Raw tag titles.
Yes.
That would have been this match is going to probably be good, but that would have been better.
Like, the SmackDown tag picture is in a little bit of a weird place right now because they just had to crown new champs out of nowhere because of the whole thing.
Yep. And they don't.
So let it breathe. Give it more room. Don't have that on there and start rebuilding the Raw one, which was really the one that needed more work to begin with.
Well, actually, and I messed up. The Revival aren't the tag champs anymore.
They're not. But still, give me the Revival versus them to get the first to see who's going to face
contender.
Yeah, exactly. That honestly would have been way better.
Yeah. But kind of like what you're saying, what other tag teams are currently active on SmackDown right now?
Right. I mean, we have
the Bar's no longer
together.
New Day's hurt because Big E's out.
Yep. Right. We went from
Rusev and Nakamura, which is two foreign heels thrown together.
Yeah, we went from a great SmackDown, hey, we can put any three of these teams against any of the other ones and it'll be great, to
right,
real quick. So both tag divisions suddenly need a lot of rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we have the Cruiserweight Championship champion Tony Nese versus Daivari,
which I'm kind of upset with myself because I haven't been following 205 Live.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't really know anything going on here.
Tony Nese is obviously the face in this, which...
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because Buddy Murphy was the heel when he had the belt.
I thought they just did heel versus heel.
No, because Daivari's been like the uber heel, like attacking after matches and doing that whole thing.
Sure.
So I guess Nese is just face by default.
All right. This is one of those matches that I assume is going to be good. Probably, honestly, I don't think this is going to steal the show.
No, but again, 205 Live's track record for having matches early on in the card is that they're usually pretty good.
Yeah. Totally fine with that. So, next up, we have United States Championship match. Champion Samoa Joe versus challenger Rey Mysterio.
So it'll probably be good.
Yeah.
I'd be a little disappointed if Joe doesn't retain the belt.
I would be surprised.
And then have Joe and Bray feud.
Bray is not going to be a face.
I mean, if he starts off as host Bray,
he will not. I will almost, at best, we're going to have tweener, I'm going to destroy everyone Bray. Which, good. That's what we should have.
Right.
We should have no one is safe.
I'm not saying we shouldn't. I think that your first move, though, should be him going after the heels. And then
no.
Have him come out. So even if he comes out at the end of this match, Joe standing tall, Joe goes to start beating up Ray a little bit more afterwards. Bray comes out, levels Joe, stands there for a minute, helps Ray up, levels Ray, and then turns around and walks out.
So I disagree slightly. What should happen is...
He levels Ray first?
No. So I actually don't want him even in the finish. I want Joe to win. Dominic and Ray are in the ring. Bray comes out and destroys Dominic.
Oh, no.
Yes. New Firefly.
Yeah, and have Dominic as one of his new characters, and he just starts taking Superstar's kids.
Oh. He's the Pied Piper. He's collecting everyone's kids.
Yeesh.
Hey, Birdie.
Oof.
Oh, DB versus Bray for Birdie. Oh.
I think we're going a little far here. We don't want anybody abducting children.
No, it'd be so good. I mean, just for on camera, not for reals. Okay, next up we have WWE Championship match: Kofi Kingston versus KO.
Should be good.
Right. I mean, a lot of this card should be good.
My only concern here is the Sami Zayn angle that they pulled on SmackDown. Did you see any of that?
So I have not been really paying attention to much at all.
So Kofi comes out, is doing his rundown of KO before the big pay-per-view match.
Right.
KO comes out, beats up Xavier, beats up Kofi. Kofi and Xavier get the upper hand. Sammy comes out, saves Kevin, and then they both beat up on the New Day.
Okay, so we're kind of back to the Sammy and Kevin. Me.
It doesn't make sense. It's not Sammy's character.
Right. Sammy was doing his own thing, which apparently has been pretty popular.
Oh, his promos have been absolutely fantastic.
Right. So my only issue here is this should have gone. This shouldn't be up yet. This should have been for like SummerSlam. They should have kept KO with the New Day a little bit longer.
Yeah. I mean, give it to him through. I mean, have KO and Xavier against Rowan and DB.
Yeah.
Would have made more sense.
Right. And then in the middle of that match, have him pop up powerbomb Kofi Xavier against the ring apron, and boom, now we're off and running.
Right.
I just would have looked at it a little bit later.
The next pay-per-view after this is SummerSlam, right?
No, SummerSlam isn't until August.
Oh, no, we have that dumb Saudi show.
We have a Saudi show and another event.
Ugh.
Yes.
Really?
Yep. We got two more. We got two more pay-per-views before SummerSlam.
Yeesh.
All right. Next up, a steel cage match of The Miz versus Shane McMahon.
Dumb.
Don't care.
Moving on.
All right. I'm going to save the next one till the end. Next up is Roman versus Elias.
Okay. I mean, you have Roman. He came back. He's starting from the bottom. He's working his way through the card again. Sure.
Which is put him on the quote unquote the main spots on the TV shows. Put his matches on second to last. Give him that top spot. Just don't put him in the title picture yet. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Make him a top guy. Don't put him above the belt yet.
No.
Just let him do his thing. Give him good long feuds. Let him speak. Let him be him. Don't force anything, and we're good. That's all I need to do.
Yeah.
Totally fine with
Absolutely.
this. All right. Next is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have, good Lord, there's a lot of people. Natalya versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Bayley versus Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon versus Carmella versus Nikki Cross for a injured Alexa Bliss.
So I'm going to pick the dark horse here. I'm thinking Nikki Cross is going to win.
That would be nice. I don't see that. I see...
Honestly, if it's not Nikki Cross, it's probably Mandy Rose.
I think Ember Moon.
You think they're going to put it on a face?
I think they give it... I mean, yeah, it's you almost have to have a heel win this because it's so much better that way. But I still feel like they're going to give it to Ember. They're eventually going to have a heel take it off of Becky.
And have Ember cash
and
in
have
on the
Ember
heel.
go I'm going to face you at Survivor Series, and I'm yeah, or just a face versus face thing, and meh.
It would be much more fun to have crazy little Nikki Cross.
I would prefer Nikki. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on her yet. No, looking at this list, I do not see a legitimate winner on this whole thing.
I mean,
I don't like this.
I mean, Bailey, maybe. But
No. Bailey is not NXT Bailey. She's worthless right now.
Yeah. So I'm picking Nikki Cross for this one.
All right, I'm going to hope for Nikki and bet on Ember. All right, next up.
Men's ladder match.
We have, again, way too many people. Sami Zayn versus Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin versus Ali versus Finn Balor versus Andrade versus Randy Orton.
I'm picking either Andrade or Drew Mac.
I'm going Andrade, and I'm going that this is going to be an amazing match.
Yeah.
We're going to see some stupid stuff that we should not see.
Well,
and
you have Ricochet, Ali, and Finn Balor in this. Of course you're going to see some stupid shit.
Yeah, and I'm going to see someone getting RKO'd off the ladder, and I'm going to see Baron Corbin taking some giant move through something to get knocked out of there, hopefully permanently. Drew or Andrade. I'm going Andrade. I hope Drew decimates a lot of it though, and really shows up. I want to see Drew get pushed. I hope he actually takes out Baron Corbin at some point. I hope that
would be fun.
I hope they end their little alliance here because it's awful and it needs to go, and Drew needs to be on his own.
Well, and you can even do some kind of, oh man, Drew's turned on Baron Corbin. Drew's going to be face, and then he just destroys Finn Balor. And then
exactly.
He destroys Ali.
This is actually the perfect opportunity to split them up because you can have them split up.
But still keep Drew a heel.
Exactly. Keep them both a heel. I mean, Baron ain't going to be a face.
No, he'll never be a face.
No, and Drew, you can keep him a heel easily by having him still just murder everyone. And, again, you might move him into kind of tweener territory for a little while, but I think I want to see Andrade win and Drew become on his own, standalone.
The actual psychopath?
The Scottish psychopath that he could be, yes. That's my hope for this match overall. Oh, man, with Ricochet in there, it's going to be silly.
Yeah. Well, and from what I've been reading is that Andrade is supposed to get a pretty decent push.
Yeah, it sounds like they're pretty high on him, which, good.
Did you hear about the whole stuff with
Translator?
Vince?
No.
So Andrade took the initiative and actually went into Vince's office and asked him for a push.
Oh, good.
He legitimately sat down with Vince and is like, I want a belt.
And apparently he's very well liked in the company right now, too.
Vince says, my only issue is your English.
And I heard they hired him
they hired him like an
language coach.
actual tutor to teach him English. Good. So when you watch some of his stuff now, he's doing a lot more talking as opposed to Zelina. She's hitting more of the more important points of his promos.
Right, but see if maybe we can get him a couple catchphrases, get him...
Yeah, exactly.
Get him something.
They're slowly moving him into being able to do stuff on his own.
Good. All right, next up, the WWE Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles.
If this is not a 4.5-star match at the bare minimum, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, this will be a great match, but... It's going to be weird.
Match, predictable outcome.
Yeah, it's face versus face. Seth's going to keep the belt.
Give me heel AJ again.
What if the club comes out?
Sure.
What if it costs Seth the match and gives AJ the belt?
Okay.
They're not gonna, but I'm all on board for it.
Yeah. Give me heel AJ all over again.
All right, our last two matches. It's one I saved from earlier.
Can we time out for a second?
Sure.
Because I would love to have AJ come back and do instead of beat up John Cena, they're gonna beat up Seth Rollins. I don't know why I liked that catchphrase so much.
It was funny. I liked it, but I don't like it as a catchphrase.
But to have them mix beat up Seth Rollins mix with calling him a nerd every now and then, I mean, it would be fun.
It would be something. So, okay, last two matches of the evening. Share one person in common in the match.
Mm-hmm.
The Man Becky Lynch versus
Charlotte,
and then versus Lacey Evans.
Two separate matches.
Yep, it's not a three-way. It's one is for the SmackDown title, one's for the Raw title.
I've been dying at some of the stuff that Becky has been posting about the Becky holding her twins as in the belts.
Yep.
And the McMahons holding their twins as in the two tall
Lacey
blondes.
and Charlotte. Yeah.
The two tall Southern blondes.
Yep. I don't like Lacey. She's still green. They should absolutely not have Lacey win.
No. And I think that's the way that they're going to go with it, is that you have If anything, Charlotte takes the belt off Becky for the SmackDown title, gets that title back on the SmackDown picture,
Right.
have Becky at Raw full time now, and then continue a program with Lacey.
That I would be fine with. I really, really, really do not want to see Charlotte with the belt again. I want to see Charlotte. I want to see her get the Roman Reigns treatment. Work your way back up. Earn this.
Yeah.
She's been doing better. Still not great in my book.
If they give us the unhinged queen,
Yes.
it would be so much better.
Give me a Charlotte breakdown and redemption story. Then
Broken Charlotte Flair.
yeah. Give me that. Then we can talk. Yeah. On the flip side, I'm actually pretty good with that. I don't want Charlotte to do it, but maybe if you have her kind of like clinging to the title like she's almost Golem with the ring, that could work.
Have Charlotte win the belt, and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Mandy Rose won the Money in the Bank. Take it off. But then here we are with another tall blonde.
Right. Ember Moon doing that would actually be okay.
Yeah, because Ember's on SmackDown now.
Yeah.
That okay.
Okay. I'm okay with this now.
If it's not Nikki Cross doing it
Yeah.
to take the Raw belt off, well, is Nikki on
Nikki's
Raw?
on Raw.
Okay. So, I mean, either way, have it one way or the other.
Yeah. I'm okay
But
with this.
Becky is going to end up on Raw.
Yeah. I think that.
Becky's going to end up on Raw because Seth is on Raw.
Yes.
And they're WWE's trying to be nice and keeping people together.
So I had mentioned this in one of our chats earlier, but honestly, what I would love to see is the Scottish Psychopath coming after the champ, Seth Rollins, backstage somewhere. Drew sets Seth up for a Claymore kick, like up against a wall or something. Last minute, we have Becky come out, shove Seth out of the way, and take the Claymore because, boy, wouldn't that solidify him as a heel.
Him as a heel and her as the man if she doesn't stay down for it.
Yep.
Have her down for a minute.
No. Have her
take it, have her stay down, but have her stir afterwards.
Nah, I want to see the Claymore set up as like I want to see it like the pop-up powerbomb. Like that's it, you're dead.
Okay.
I want to see this protected a bit. So
okay,
because I really like the Claymore kick because it's kind of like a stunner where it can come out of nowhere pretty quickly. It requires a little bit more setup, but it's something you can kind of hit pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's better than the Codebreaker, at least. I don't know. I hated the Codebreaker for some reason.
Codebreaker wasn't that great.
It was like trying too hard to be the stunner.
Yeah. I mean, for moves that can come out of nowhere, stunner, RKO, a super kick.
Yeah.
A super kick if you're not Shawn Michaels.
Right. Claymore kick, though, I think it's pretty good. It looks good.
Yeah.
With someone the size of Drew delivering it, it looks like, well, there goes your head.
Right.
But think about, like, if they have some staged drywall there, to have them put someone through some drywall. If it was Becky, too. It was like,
Claymore Becky straight through a wall.
And, like, I just think that would be a good, especially if he's not setting Becky up for it. If she, I think it's more acceptable if she's the one that runs in and takes it.
Yeah.
Because then it's not like we're going back to the 90s and the Dudleys powerbombing women through tables unnecessarily.
No.
All right. Yeah. So anyways.
Again, we're not getting that all that often.
I guess that's about Money in the Bank.
And if anybody's going to be able to take it and still look okay, it would be Becky.
Exactly.
I don't foresee Becky losing both of those belts.
I honestly don't want to see her lose either of them. I think there's still more in Becky 2 belts, but that's fine.
Champ.
Right. Champ. So honestly, I don't see a lot changing at Money in the Bank.
No.
Seems more of a holdover.
It's more of a give somebody those briefcases so we can start a story.
Right. And honestly, as we said, the women's one seems pretty weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not having have Asuka or bring up Shayna to be in there or something. There's no. Or right now, our problem is besides Becky and Charlotte, who's a legitimate threat to the titles?
Well, we have Shayna still has the women's title in NXT, doesn't she?
Yes.
So it wouldn't be bad if at the next takeover, Io takes it off of Shayna.
Right.
But you could have easily had Shayna show up at this pay-per-view,
Yeah.
beat the hell out of somebody in the back and being like, you know what? I'm taking her spot.
Exactly. I would be totally okay with that.
And honestly, the person to do it to, I'd hate to say it, but Dana Brooke.
Yeah, Dana's kind of the one to knock out of that whole thing.
Natalia, maybe.
Natty can do some power spots, I think.
Yeah.
That you kind of want to keep a diverse.
The only thing I'd be worried about, or not worried about, the only thing I wouldn't want to do is to take Dana out, is apparently she's been doing a lot of extra training and she's getting progressively better. We just haven't seen it because she hasn't been on TV.
Right. And overall, I mean, I think if anything, this just highlights that. Well, they did great for the women's division main belt build up to Mania. And the problem is
they're doing great with the tag belts too.
Yes.
But it's what happens after this.
Right. We need they did great building up the titles. Now they need to build up challengers because they got that division is suddenly looking real weak now that we don't have Becky, Charlotte, Ronda.
Or you know who wouldn't be bad to show up and take a spot? Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I mean, again, it's another tall blonde, but she's at least a different look.
Yeah, exactly.
She's got the hardcore thing going, and
right.
You want to talk about power spots?
Exactly. That would be a nice change. I think that'd be good. So, all right. Before we go, AEW announced they have a TV deal
on TNT.
Yeah, definitely kind of throwing us back into the mid-90s suddenly.
Ted Turner's still salty.
Which, hey, I hope more than anything it just pushes Vince to have to be better. That's all I want.
Right.
I want AEW to do good. I'm really interested in it. I don't really want to pay $50 for a pay-per-view every couple of months, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's only going to be happening for X amount of time, though. With Turner's resources, they'll have some kind of platform like the network at some point soon.
I hopefully it comes sooner rather than later. I think that might hurt them a little bit, but I'm pretty confident they'll be able to build an audience. I want this to go really well. I just want there to be more competition more than anything. I want to see Kenny Omega on TV. That'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, a lot of cool AEW stuff coming up. Double or Nothing in a week.
Yeah.
So next week. So actually, this will be a pretty good month for wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, historically, it's been the downtime because it's only been WWE around.
Right. So that might actually be the best time to swoop in.
Yeah. Have your AEW have your big pay-per-views in the summer?
Yeah.
Have your WrestleMania in like July.
July might be tough. Maybe doing it in September because that's when All In was. September is usually historically a rough time, apparently.
Okay.
So
end of August, early September.
Doing it kind of
after SummerSlam.
On the opposite of the calendar from Mania, which Mania is in late March, early April.
Yep.
So late August, late September, early October, maybe. Maybe
wouldn't be awful because, I mean, around that time you don't have WWE having a big pay-per-view.
No, and I mean, honestly, if you're shooting for a younger market, that's kind of like a little bit after back to school. So, like, if you're really building your push to that when everyone's kind of getting back to school, be like, oh man, over the summer I was watching this thing. Have you guys seen that? And,
right.
I mean, capitalize on that a bit.
I mean, if they want to do a Big Four style pay-per-view thing,
yeah,
you can easily do it in between WWE's Big Four.
Exactly. So, all right. On that note, plugs.
Twitter, WrestleHistPod.
Facebook, This Week in Wrestling History Podcast.
Spotify, iTunes, literally anywhere that you can search for a podcast will probably show up.
YouTube, This Week in Wrestling History Podcast.
And Gmail, this Wrestling History Podcast at gmail.com.
All right. That's it for us. We're history.